All right, good afternoon once again to everybody who have joined the call. My name is Hannah Amakusen, and I'm the head of marketing for iRisk Management Limited, a leading insurance brokerage firm in Ghana. In fact, as we speak, we are number 4 out of 120 insurance brokers in Ghana. And we've been operating since 2017, actively operating since 2017. And what we do basically is we provide insurance advisory services to our clients, help them secure the right insurance products. When they have claims as well, we work on their claims for them. All come at no cost to the client or the customer at all. So you're actually in good hands with somebody who is not coming to collect money from you, but coming to pour out a lot to you. All right. I know the subject of insurance can be a bit boring, especially in an afternoon like this, but trust me, by the time you are done with this presentation, you won't be bored at all. And I encourage you to note down all your questions that you have for me. I'm trusting God to answer all the questions as well. If you have a question in the course of the presentation, you can put them in the chat box. I will look at them and answer accordingly. So, shall we move on? Okay,
Yeah, we can.
Sure, I would like to mute my video so that you can have a very good connection. Okay, so basically, what we will talk about today is everything in relation to the construction industry in Ghana and the various insurances that you need for your activities. Okay, so basically, that will be what our presentation will be centered on. Let's go straight to the point. So for content, we'll be looking at insurance and its purpose, importance of the new act. There's a new insurance act, the relevance of the act, importance of project structures and risk identification. We look at latest market insights. We look at claims management and resolution. I'll also leave you with some tips for your ongoing projects or projects you're about to bid for or get awards for. And then we look at impending court cases and even decided court cases. All right. So basically, well, what's insurance? When we talk about insurance, there are three things involved. Basically, it's you, one person named as the insured, you, the one who wants the insurance. You're saying that you have a risk. You can't bear the risk. You want to transfer it to another party, which is called the insurer or the insurance company, who in turn will say, okay, I'm taking your risk. And at the end of the day, you give me a consideration. The consideration is in the form of premium. Do you understand? So as Charles mentioned, insurance is a method of managing risk. Is one method of managing risk. We have different methods of managing risks. Some will say, okay, I want to manage the risk by myself, self-insure, or I would do an investment with a bank or a financial institution so that when it yields result, we use it to pay for our losses. So another way of managing your risk is also using insurance as a risk transfer mechanism. So what are some of the importance of having insurance is that, it provides you financial security. Yesterday, I was watching TV and there was this video of a house that has burnt to ashes. Imagine if this house has no insurance. How is the person going to rebuild in this difficult economic downturn? How is the person going to rebuild? All right. It also gives you complete peace of mind because at the end of the day, okay, I can go about my duties. I can do all the stuff I have to do because I have insurance. I won't think of, okay, when it happens, what will happen to me? Will I be able to come back to business? Also, some insurances are very compulsory. They are compulsory. They are legal requirements. The law asks that you have it in place. We will discuss all of them into details. Prior to the new act, there's a new act actually, which is the Insurance Act 121, 2021, Act 1061. This new act gives various insurance policies that are compulsory as of now. Initially, when this new act hadn't come into place, that's prior to 2021, the compulsory insurances were just motor insurance and commercial building insurance. Those were the policies that were compulsory. But after the law or the act was enacted, other insurance policies became compulsory. And some of these insurance policies are marine insurance, workmen compensation insurance, professional indemnity insurance, and public liability insurance. That's in addition to the two compulsory insurances prior to 2021. Okay, so what does the Act actually do? So the Act is a framework for every activity in the insurance industry. So it starts from appointments of even the commissioner and the officers, the shareholding structure of organizations, insurance organizations, that's the brokers, the reinsurers, the mainstream insurers, all of them. And it also encompasses the compulsory insurances, that's what I spoke about earlier. And if you have any new products on the market that you want to, new products you want to bring to the market you need to get approval, it gives the framework of how the approval will be done. Even premium computations and commission complications, claims supervision, all of them are encompassed in the Act, the new Act. So it's Insurance Act 2021, Act 1061. For contractors, I know that these are some of the things that you are familiar with. Buildings, be it commercial or residential. In this day and age, especially where I find myself, I see a lot of real estate companies coming up, so many of them. Every now and then, you see real estate companies coming up, which I think is a good investment people are looking at. We also have road contractors and the highway, civil engineers law, public-private partnership, joint venture, which is very common in our part of the world. Now, let's go to some of the risks that are associated in the construction industry. Please, if I'm moving fast, let me know, draw my attention so that I slow down, or if you have your question, you jot it down or give me a thumbs up or raise your hand, then I answer. There are various risks that are common to the construction industry. There are so many of them. This is just a part of it. Are they insurable or not? When you talk about, the first one is environmental or acts of God. Acts of God means things that were beyond your control. When it rained, it's beyond your control. You didn't cause the rain to fall. Is it insurable? We'll discuss it further. Financial or economic risk in your activity. What are some of the financial and economic risks you experience? We have socio-economic or social, political or legal risk. We have design and technical risk. We have logistics risk. We have fiscal risk, contractual risk, leadership, and organizational risk. These are some of the risks that you are exposed to. In the subsequent slides, I will explain all of them into details and relate it to the various insurance policies that you need to mitigate these risks. Please, any questions so far? Any questions so far?
No questions for now.
Okay, you can move on. I can go. Sure, thank you. So we are going down to the various policies that are relevant to the construction sector. So let me put it in perspective. So with your industry, from what I understand from your industry, you are looking at builders, the mainstream contractors, the subcontractors, like the likes of the MEPs, the roofing sheet companies and all that. You are looking at surveyors, you are looking at architects, you are looking at all of them. I mean, all the people who make up the construction sector. These are the ones that we are doing these insurances to. We are giving these insurance recommendations to. So first of all, we talk about the surety bonds. Bonds are guarantees. In essence, anytime you get a bond, they are guaranteed, in which one person, known as the employer, or mostly you use the employer or use the principal, decides to give a contract to contractor, okay, and always ask that, though I'm giving the contract to this contractor, I need an assurance. So these surety bonds are assurance bonds, an assurance. So the first assurance that mostly principals or employers look out for is the performance bond. Even before performance bond, you go for bids. That's the tenders where you all tender your cost, what you have for a particular project, and the consultant will ask you to get a bid bond, just so let me explain what the bid bond does. So with bid bonds, we've tendered in our figures and things that we know that we can use to do this very contract. Assuming that we give you the contract, you, the tenderer, you are picked, we give you the contract, then you decide that, okay, for one or two reasons, I won't be able to do the job, or I'm pulling out, then there's a cost that is incurred for us to now go through all our books to see the number of people who have tendered again, go through all the list and pick another successful bidder. So the cost involved is what the principal wants to avoid. So we'll ask that you get your bid security, mostly say tender security or bid security. Then after you are successful and you are given the contract, a very good principal will ask that you get a performance bond for the job. What does the performance bond do? So performance bond, their guarantees is going to guarantee you, the contractor, that you faithfully perform the job assigned to you. So the guarantee, mostly they will ask that you take it from the insurance company or you take it from a bank. But I will always advise that bring it to us, bring it to the insurance company. It's cheaper over here, okay? Then they will also ask for advance payment guarantee. You may hear advance payment guarantee or advance payment bond or advance mobilization bond. Any which way is a matter of semantics, is the same thing. So when they ask for that, that means that, okay, the principal is giving you, the contractor, money to execute the job. He is asking for a guarantee from the insurance company or the bank that the monies that has been advanced to you will go into the work. You will use it for the work. In the past, there are some claims that have crystallized that monies were advanced to contractors and they use it for their personal stuff. They use it for their personal duties. That's not what we are looking at. We want you to perform the job. So the insurance company gives a guarantee that, oh, okay, this company A is going to perform the job, or is going to use the money to do the job that has been given onto him. And the next one, we're looking at the retention bond. So for the retention bond, they are saying that, yes, the contract period is, say, 12 months. That's within which you are supposed to finish the project. However, we are giving you a maintenance liability period or defect liability period for about 6 months, in addition to the 12 months, which makes the whole project 18 months. So in that period, we expect that anything that will happen to the project, anything that will happen to the project, you should be able to do what? Cover it. You should be able to pay for it, because we assume that if you are done with the project for the next 6 months, it should be in a good condition. So if it's not in a good condition, then you are liable. Then the insurance company says, okay, I can guarantee that for you. And at the end of the day, you pay a premium to that effect. So this is about the surety bonds. That mostly you see, we ask you to bring award letters for us to work on it. All right. Okay. Yeah. When I was working on this presentation, for years we've been doing advanced performance and all that, but there's an underlying condition, or there's yes, the underlying condition that enjoins you, contractors and all the people in the construction space, to have these contracts, and they are all embedded in your book, which is the FIDIC Red Book. So I use that for my reference points, and some of these policies came up. That's from your FIDIC Red Book. I use the 2017 edition. These are some of the, aside the surety bonds, these are some of the insurances that the employer or the principal asks you, the contractor, to provide anytime they give you jobs. So let me use an example so that the way becomes very easy. Assuming Ministry of Highways awards a contract to, say, Multibuild. Multibuild is a consultant. Award a contract to, say, Shaheen Company Limited or Shaheen Investment. When they award a contract, they will ask that first of all, you get the performance, you get the advance, and to get perhaps they may even ask you to do the retention as well. But some contracts will say after the performance and advance, after the work is completed, then you do the retention. Then they will ask that you also have a contractor's all risk insurance. What is the contractor's all risk? Is you will sometimes hear insurance of works. They are saying that you will use materials, you use goods, you use people to do the work. So as you have gone to get your cement, your iron rods and all that, we don't want the situation, because remember, you use the money from the advance mobilization to secure these. We don't want the situation whereby you will come and tell us that there was rain, or some people came to the premises to steal the goods, or there was fire outbreak, so the goods and everything were destroyed. We don't want you to say, okay, we're transporting the goods from Tema to the site, and the goods got damaged in the course of the transit. We don't want to hear that, because it's going to cost the principal and everybody involved. So they also ask that you get a contractor's all risk or insurance of works to cover for all these things that are likely to occur. So aside that, there's this portion of public liability. Assuming, let me use a typical construction site. There's one around airport, those who are conversant with Accra, around association school. I think there's this new construction site that is just coming up. Assuming that, that place is more or less like a residential area, offices are there, but still they are constructing. Imagine that the way that they are doing causes damage to properties of others. Do you understand? Causes damage to properties of others, or injury, or even death to the third party. So immediately you hear public liability, you're looking at the third party, any third party. So if it's the third party's property, or is the third party causing injury or death to the third party, then you, the contractor who has been given this contract, to be liable. So typical example, assuming somebody comes to the site and gets injured, you, the contractor, you are liable. Or your cranes or your activity destroy somebody's property. Maybe you are lifting some blocks or something, it fell on a driver or somebody in a car or somebody's house, destroyed property. You are liable as a contractor. So your condition will ask that you get that public liability, so that any death, injury, or damage that will be caused during the time you are working, it can be covered. Then the next one, we are looking at injury to workers, or workmen compensation insurance. We understand that you don't work in a vacuum and you don't work alone. You engage the services of either casual workers, your own workers. You engage other people's services to help you do the work. We believe that there are risks that are associated with their work, and it can happen that they will get accidents on the job, they can get sick on the job, they can die on the job. Sorry to say, but it can happen. So what compensation would be due those people that are working? So we always ask that you get a workmen compensation insurance for the workers that you are working with to get your project executed. Even if there's no project yet and you are a contractor, you are an allied professional, it's very, very important to have workmen compensation for your activities. Because as I spoke to Charles earlier before this presentation, he told me he was in Seshi, and his work that took him to Seshi. We don't pray anything bad happens, but should anything happen to him, to and fro from the job or on the job, it can be covered. The insurance will pay for anything that happened in relation to his job. It will be covered. So if he gets accidents on the job, sorry to say, he dies on the job, he gets injured on the job, then this policy will take effect. Also, the other insurances that for Ghana, basically, this is what they ask that you do. But the other ones like professional duty or professional indemnity insurance. Yesterday, when I posted a flyer, immediately somebody asked me, she's an architect, asked me how much professional indemnity insurance costs. So professional indemnity insurance basically is about, as you professionals, whether you are an architect, whether you're a surveyor, whether you're a contractor, whether you're an allied professional, should your negligence, your omission, your commission cause a loss to the project that you have been assigned to, then the policy will trigger, then the insurance company will pay. So what are some of the losses? I'm throwing this question to us. Please, what are some of the losses that as either an architect, a contractor, a real estate, per your advice, can bring losses? What are some of the things? I want to know. I'm inviting answers. What are some of the things that can go wrong in your line of duty, like the advice you give to your customers that would cause them to lose money, or your employer to lose money or not get the project successfully delivered? I'm waiting for answers. Hello.
Hi, Hannah.
Yes.
Yes, so this Irama of patients.
Okay, Rama, sure.
Yes, I think that's the most common one that we experience in this country. Buildings failing, like construction buildings failing. We hear it all the time, all over. And in such instances, most likely is the structural engineers who will be held liable for something like that. Yeah. So that's a very good example.
Wow, thank you very much. Please, anyone else?
You can check the chat room too as well. Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Oh, somebody says it's not hearing. Please, can the person hear now?
Hello.
Hi.
I'm seeing messages.
Yeah, I can also say that you have engineering errors.
Okay.
Engineering errors where maybe you didn't check some designs you have to do.
Okay.
For us, structural engineers, you have some errors. Maybe you consider a beam to be carrying a load, certain load. You did a design for that. When you went to the site, maybe the contractor mistakenly did some error in that. It can bring about these errors inside. Yeah. So you have engineering errors, which counts a lot.
Errors. I'm learning a lot over here. So, okay. The filling and the engineering errors. Okay. So I think we all have an idea what of some of the things that could cause a breach in your professional duty. So let's move on.
Hannah, sorry, let me come in here again.
Okay.
So this to the architects.
Okay.
Is there a situation where like a client or somebody has complained that a design wasn't done well, and so he or she is taking the architect to court or something, like to the architects on the forum? I'm yet to experience anything like that.
Maybe Charles, you can assist us in this. Have you experienced one in your professional duty?
Any architects on the forum?
This is Ernest. I did not get the question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we are talking about losses in our profession. And for architects, we do mainly designs. So I'm wondering if anybody has encountered a situation where a client wasn't satisfied with a design that was done for them. And so it triggered maybe using the professional indemnity insurance or anything like that, or being sued or something in relation to that.
Oh, I think the architects here are good, so they don't get into such
Interesting. We thank God for that, but you may never know. So it's always important to get that policy in place to just secure your back. Should they happen, then you don't have to go through any litigation issues. Okay.
Yeah, but I just want to add one more thing.
Okay.
Sometimes architects can also specify certain materials
Okay.
that can, in the end, lead to some health issues for the occupants. And I believe that can also lead to that breach.
Okay.
Example could be asbestos.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Who's speaking?
This is Alan.
Okay.
Related to that, well, I've been on a project where, the architects had to pay, and the situation was that they over-designed the building for the site in terms of the limits of the lot, and this was just about 4 inches beyond the property line.
Wow.
And this was detected when the surveyors had to lay out the building on site, and so the client had to apply for accommodation variation to accommodate the change, so that they wouldn't have to modify the building to fit within the site, and so all the associated costs that came with the application for variation had to be borne by the architects through the insurance. So
okay.
Sorry, Alan. Yeah, I have a follow-up question. Didn't the architect work with a site plan given to him by the client?
Yeah, so the reason was that they had a young designer who worked on that project, which was inexcusable. But yeah, so first, what we had to do was to set up a 3-way discussions between the surveyors and the architects. Initially, the architects were pushing the problem to the surveyors. So we hired a third party surveyor to reconfirm the original survey that was done. Following that, it was, established that it was solely a fault emanating from the design side. So the architects had to bear that.
All right.
Yeah, and this was just over 4 inches.
Wow.
Yeah. 4 inches.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the valuable contribution. I'm learning a lot from you. I'm
let me just add.
Down. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just add quickly before you go on.
Okay.
So for me, as a tip to maybe the other architects here, maybe it won't work for them, but what I do is that in the contract, I state specifically that the design is going to be based on the site plan that the client brings. Okay. So if there are any issues, then the client has to bear it, because I'm designing based on the site plan you've given me with the dimensions and everything. So if it's gone beyond 4 inches, unless, like he's saying, after investigation and everything is established that it's the architect's fault, you are given the dimensions, you went beyond it. But if not, to help everybody here, you should state clearly that your design is based on what has been given you, and any issues pertaining to that will be borne by the client.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was just an addition. So you can go on.
That's fine. Thank you very much for the contribution. So I'll just give a summary of the products and add a few more to it. So we've mentioned performance bond, advanced mobilization, we've mentioned retention bond, the bid bonds, the contractors audits. There's one thing that is also very important. Even after having the contractors audit, you may want to look out for plant and machinery insurance. Mostly, some people confuse that as it being part of the CAR or the audit insurance of works. There are two different things. The insurance company may decide to endorse the plant and machinery insurance on the contractor's audit, but that doesn't make it the same. So you know that you are working with machines, you are working with equipment and all that. So it's very, very important that you get insurance to cover for them, because as you're on site, I mean, there could be theft, there could be natural disasters, acts of God, there could be other perils or hazards that can render the machines not usable or get a loss out of it. So you may want to consider that. We've spoken about the workmen compensation insurance to your workers. We've spoken about the public liability policy to the third party. There's one other thing you also have to look out for. That's it's not common in my line of work. I've not met any claim associated with that, but it can be an emerging risk that can happen, which we may have to look out for, especially if you are embarking on any construction works around this time in Ghana, where we are in November, December. We'll be undergoing election and all that. You may want to look out for political violence and terrorism insurance, so that there could be upsurges, there could be war. We pray it doesn't happen. Terrorism, violence, and all that could render your job that you've been assigned to or the contract you've been given to work on, you not being able to perform. So you may want to take that insurance up. If you want any advice on that, you can let us know. We'll draft. Mostly we do it on accommodation basis, or we take whatever you have. We look at your risk, and then we tailor something to suit your risk. So you may want to look out for them. Then anytime you are doing your CART, you may consider if the work involves subcontractors or any allied professionals that you may want them to come on the job, you may consider adding them to the policy. So I have a project that I did recently where the contractor, I don't want to disclose, the contractor asked that the other subcontractors be added onto the policy so that in case of any loss, they'll be jointly and severally liable. And I've spoken extensively about professional indemnity, where you gave me valuable insights as to what happens in your space. Okay, I want to round up so that we can ask more questions. During my presentation or during my preparation to give you this presentation, there were some key things that people don't really look at. Contractors don't look at it. They think, okay, I need a policy to be done. Get me the policy, that's all. So, okay, how much is it? Oh, it's 50,000 Ghana cedis. Oh, can you reduce it for me? And that's all. Some, should I say, people in your space do not have or do not take the pain to go through the policies that they've been issued, or do not go through the policies that has been given to them. And at the end of the day, when there's a claim, they will say perhaps the insurance is a fraudulent scheme or whatever. I know all this stuff we say about insurance. One first of them all is deductible. In other dispensation, they will say excess on the policies. Deductible is basically the amount that you, the professional, you, the contractor, you'll be able to bear in the case of a loss. Do you understand? So let's say the whole project is $1 million. And you said, okay, when there's a claim, the first amount you bear is, say, you'll be able to bear $5,000, or you'll be able to bear $10,000, whichever amount that you know that you can bear. So back to the deductible. So I mentioned that that is the first amount you said you can bear at a point when there's a claim. So if you say that, okay, I can bear 10,000 or 10, sometimes they'll give it to you in percentages. Other times they'll give it to you in an amount. So say you will be able to bear the first 10% of the loss, or you'll be able to bear, let's say, 10,000 of the loss. It will affect your premium. But always be mindful of the risk appetite you can bear. You don't always have to rather look out for how much you are paying.
This is on your construction input.
Hello.
Please can we all mute? Mics? Is that Charles?
Please, can you mute so that we can continue? All right. So always be mindful of the deductible you have. Yesterday, a colleague of mine brought a contract to me. It was one of the insurance companies that did it. The contract was around $1 million. And the deductible on the contractor's all risk was $10,000. So deductible means the amount you will bear when there's a claim, the first amount you bear. So assuming if the loss is less than $10,000, meaning the insurance company is not going to pay anything. You, the contractor, is going to bear the $10,000. And I mean, consider the exchange rates in Ghana. $10,000 in, if you are even applying 12 cedis to a dollar, that's about 120,000, which is going to be borne by you. You don't want that. So always look at your contract and see the deductible, whether it's okay for you. Don't be in a hurry to just pay a smaller premium and have a higher deductible. Always make sure that the amount that you bear at the point of a claim is okay for you. That's one thing that I think you should be mindful of. And also, there's a difference between surrounding properties in the area where you are building and public liability. I want you to look at this very, very well. Let's say an area like airport. There's a construction going on at airport, Kotoka International Airport. There are surrounding buildings in the same space. Those buildings, assuming they belong to the employer or whoever you're doing the contract for, those are not considered as third parties. They are still for the contractor or whoever you're doing the project for. So we advise that you always have an endorsement on the policy to cater for any losses that will escape from your work or any activity from your work that will cause damage to those properties surrounding you. And mostly, the simple one, or what we always look out for, what we charge is, it shouldn't be more than 10% of the cost of the project. So if that's what we will cater for. If there's a loss, it shouldn't be more than 10% of the cost of the project. So if, say, the project is $1 million, we are looking at insuring you for $10,000 to cater for any loss, or $100,000 to cater for any loss that will occur around. However, if you think that your activity is such that it may cause higher loss to the surrounding properties in the same vicinity, which belongs to the contractor, which belongs to the employer, then you may want to increase the percentage. So you state, then we give you the right premium for that. Good. Another thing that you should also know that in your contractor's always is an exclusion is that of cross liability. Cross liability says that to us insurance, you the employer and you the contractor, you are both insured. You both have interest in the insurance policy. So we say that endorse the cross liability so that the two of you can sue each other on the policy. For each of us are either underperformance or any issue that we have with the project. But if you don't have that policy endorsed, then at the end of the day, if the two of you have an issue, you have to solve it by yourself without coming through insurance. Do you understand? So this is between the employer and the contractor. Yeah, if you have any issue, you have to, if you endorse a cross liability policy on the policy, we will come to us and resolve it for you. That's fine. And there's also another thing you have to also look out for: custody, control, and care endorsements. These are things that you will hardly find them. But I mean, for my line of work, I've encountered a number of claims that are associated with this, and I think you should really note it. Assuming you are on the site, you are performing your duties, you are doing your work, then perhaps your machine that you have insured under the plants and machinery is not working. So you need a third party's machine to do your work. At that moment, the machine is not yours. It's somebody's machine you've contracted, and you have it on your site, in your custody. Always make sure you make an allowance to endorse that policy, so that should anything happen to the policy as it is in your possession, insurance will cover for it. But if you don't endorse it, and at the end of the day, you come and tell us that, oh, it was part of the plants and machinery, we always ask that you declare duty of disclosure. You declare whatever, or you disclose whatever machines or equipment you are working with, and based on that, we give you premium or we give you insurance on. So it's always good to have that endorsement done. Also, there's one risk management advice that I want to give to you. When there's the project is ongoing, it doesn't mean that you should just leave the project without reviewing your various insurances. Because I know that from the start of the policy, let's say the contract was $1 million from the start of the policy. So maybe if the project duration was 12 months and you've done the project for say 6 months, the cost of the project has now been reduced to 6 months. So consequently, be talking to your broker on how you can review it, or if you are done with the project and you couldn't finish the project for the stipulated time or that you were given, then you need an extension. When we are giving you the extension, we are not going to give you the extension based on the first contract value that you gave us, that we use, but the remaining job that has not been performed. And an insurer may not even ask. You just do the extension based on the whole figure and know that you are going to pay more. But that's why I'm here. I'm a broker. So anytime you have such issues, kindly talk to me. I'll sort you out, okay? And also, always make sure that your documentation and record keeping are always on point. Always make sure you document. Anytime we give you contracts, kindly take your time and read. If you can't even read or you don't have time, let your broker summarize it and explain it to you so that you are in line. You know whatever is going on. Keep records of your receipts, of your signed copies, your counter guarantees. Always keep copies so that when there are issues, you can solve it amicably with the insurance company. And regular risk assessments, I mentioned it earlier that in the course of the project, always make sure that the workers are adhering to the occupational health and safety methods or processes that you have in place, and all that. Make sure risk assessments, are you so exposed? Are there any additional risk or additional stuff you brought to the premises that has not been insured? Always make sure that you find out and then you talk to your broker to help you in that regard. Also, these days, the bond wordings have changed somehow. These days, they mostly ask for first demand. First demand wording is basically, if there's a loss, we don't need you to go for any records or have any issues, whether or not you are going to pay. Immediately, the contractor comes or the employer comes to report to the insurance company that there's a loss. It's incumbent on the insurance company to pay. So mostly these days, insurance companies are shying away from clauses that really implicate them because of some cases we've had in the past, which I've outlined some of them. We'll talk about it going forward. So always make sure that you have some of these before, even if you have a contract that has some of these things, find out whether or kindly ask them. They may also ask you to get some of these things before they give you the policy, like your audited statements of accounts, the profile of directors. These days, we even take ID cards of directors, the registration, company profile, previous work done, and everything that you need. There are about 3 claims that I will talk about before we end our presentation. Some of these bond claims are decided. One is not decided yet in court. The case went to the extent of going to court for the court to settle. So about 7 years ago, 5 to 6 years ago, I don't know if any of you are aware of MSF. Please, is any of you aware of MSF Engineering? There was a project that they were supposed to build some the hotel was called Radisson Blue Hotel, and the employer was Mabani. They were Portuguese people. Is anybody familiar with this project? Hello? Not okay. So what happened was that MSF was the contractor, and Mabani 7 was, they are Portuguese. They were the principal. They were the one who gave the contract to MSF. And good thing is, MSF has been in Ghana for a while. So, I mean, they were common. They've done other projects that insurers were comfortable and giving them advanced mobilization and all that. So here in the case, they came to Ghana and said, okay, they want to build this Radisson Blu Hotel. It was huge. It was going to be used for both hotel and residential apartments. It was really, really huge. The project value was around $150 million, yes, around that time. Then we don't know what happened. The contractor couldn't perform the job. Then Mabani filed for a claim to secure an amount of 150 million from the insurance company. And honestly, this project was such that, I mean, sometimes insurers, we also, because we are into business, we're also looking at how much is coming to us. So I can't really speak for them, but it looks like some due diligence didn't go on so right. And more so, this contractor is somebody they already knew, they've been working with, so they knew, okay, we can do the project and all that. And this Mabani 7 filed for a case. It went all the way to court. And insurance companies, as we speak now, are still paying for it, plus all interest. They are collecting it seriously because they didn't do one due diligence and all that. They didn't take any collateral. So I beg, if you're a contractor here and your project is huge, and sometimes you're asking you more questions, things you can give to us, collateral and all, it's not because we are being too nosy, but it's also to protect our industry. If in the next 20 years, 30 years, if we are no more, then what happens? Our construction project is going to be, you have to use your own money from your pockets, but you know, we provide you with this security so that you can go about your duties. So these are one of the cases. Then there was this popular case in a draft from 2013 to 2015. ITAL. I don't know if any of you two are aware of this one. ITAL was the contract, employer or the principal. And this was a credit guarantee case where they got a facility from Ivory Finance. And Ivory Finance asked for a credit guarantee from SIC. If you are aware, these days, I don't know most of you, but for the contractors, some of the contractors I work with, these days, if they need credit guarantee, they don't even get it because of some of these issues. Ivory Finance advanced the money to ITAL to do the project, and SIC was the guarantor of it. At the end of the day, it happened that ITAL couldn't perform the job. Then Ivory Finance don't need their money. It went all the way to court. And the fact of the matter was that the amount for the project was around 19.3 million. As of 2015, compounding interest and everything had moved it from 19.3 million to 234 million. So, I mean, these are some of the issues that are pending, and insurance companies are still paying for that as we speak. Okay. And also, one thing I also want you to look at, this is a case that happened recently, last year. For the subcontractors we have over here, maybe you may want to look at it when you are drafting your contract. So it so happened that this contractor, which is Ultra Electricals, was given a contract by WBHO, and it had to do with the exchange rate differential. So, you know, let's say the contract was $1 million Ghana dollars. No, the contract, it was priced in Ghana cedis, and they were supposed to supply some electricals to WBHO for their projects. It so happened that the project delayed. And at the time that Ultra Electricals was supposed to get the stuff from offshore, to get the stuff from abroad or wherever they were importing it, they couldn't pay for it because there has been a surge in dollar and the Ghana cedi just couldn't match. And these are things that we have to look at. at the point we are drafting our contract, we are appending to sign the contract with either the principal or whoever is the advisor, you have to know who is going to bear this risk. At a point where there are exchange rate differentials, who is going to bear it? Is it going to be that ordinarily it should be that of the principal, but because there are some things that you can't really you don't have control over. So you may want to look at all those things when you are doing your contracts. Good. I will end here and I'll summarize this part and end here so that I can invite questions from you. I think our time is almost up. I always say that this part, my friend Kofi, I think he's on the call with me right now, brought some things to me that we have to, as professionals, how can we excel in what we are doing? As an architect, as an engineer, as a contractor, as an allied professional, as a surveyor, how are you going to excel in your profession? You have to stay up to date with the latest technologies. These days, we are going toward, the world is going towards that line. You shouldn't put your pen in company's ink. This is funny, but I mean, I know you understand. Avoid conflicts of interest, pay yourself salary, always put the company first. Please, corporate governance should be of the essence. And anytime you are working on a project, always make sure you are engaging the best risk management practices. Anything that may cause a loss to the project, identify it very fast and let's make sure we curtail it or we have a way of preventing it from escalating. So my brothers and sisters, this is where I'll end my presentation and I will invite questions from you. Then we would call it a day. Thank you.
Okay, Hannah, let me come in here. Thank you very much for this enlightening presentation. So hi everybody, my name is Irama. I'm supposed to be a moderator, but unfortunately I didn't join on time because I couldn't log in. So I want you to keep your questions and everything, contributions and everything in mind, note them down. I just want us to step back just a few seconds because I need to reintroduce Hannah. I mean, she's given us a very lovely presentation and I need to let you all know her accolades. Let you all know her accolades. So she's a chartered insurance practitioner from the UK and a professional insurance broker. She has nearly a decade wealth in experience in insurance broking and risk management. She holds a Master of Science in International Business and Business Administration. She's the head of marketing at Risk Management in one of the leading insurance brokers in Ghana. She's a thought leader, initiator, and an astute team leader. She brings high-level expertise in her interaction with all stakeholders, and she believes in responsibility, trust, integrity, and service excellence as her core values. Okay, so there's much more. I'll leave that for now because we don't have too much time.
Yeah, we don't have time.
Yeah. So now we'll move on to the questions. I have Nuruddin's hand up. Nuruddin, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Nuruddin. Okay, as we wait for Nuruddin, let me ask my question. So I want a more practical understanding into this whole insurance thing. So for instance, I have a contract that is running for, let's say, a year, and I have to provide a performance bond, and the contract is probably $1 million. Practically, how much, I don't know how you call it, maybe the insurance amount you have to pay, principal, deductibles, and all that. Can you give us a more practical understanding into it?
Okay, I think I can now put on my video so that you can see me. All right, so you mentioned that you have a contract worth $1 million and you'll be asked to do a performance bond or advanced mobilization, whatever. So first of all, the contract award letter will stipulate which percentage of the 1 million, you should do the performance bond on. Mostly is 30% of the total contract sum. However, some contracts may differ and ask that you do 20% or 10%, depending on whatever the contract says you should do. So most of our ratings, when I started my presentation, I mentioned that the NIC, which is the regulator, the National Insurance Commission, has stipulated rates that we all go by. So for performance bond, mostly it's 5% of the percentage of the contract sum. Do you understand? So if the contract sum is, say, $1 million, and is the award letter says do 30% as performance bond, then we are looking at 30% of $1 million, which is $300,000. And based on that, we apply the 5% on it for you. This is on the shelf rates, and I'm a professional, so we go strictly by the rates. But in the future, depending on how your risk has been, your risk management methods has been, and all that, you can always negotiate. So you always talk to your broker, and your broker will take it from there. So that's how it works.
Okay, so how is the 5% paid? Is it spread over the period of the contract?
I said not 5%, 0.5% of the cost of the project. Mostly we take it up. So yes, we take 0.5% of the cost of the project. So we take it upfront. We don't say pay in bits, but we know how the system is also like. So as we realize that it all boils down to relationships. If you know that you are a very correct customer, you are very diligent and all that, we can always give you a very favorable period to make all your payments, yes. But mostly we take it prior to the contract or before you will even give you the documents. For Ghana, the policy is that it's no premium, no cover. You can't get a cover when you've not paid your premium. That's the practice. Yes, so 0.5% as performance bond. Advanced mobilization, we are looking at 1% of the amount for the bond. Yes, contractors all risk. The agreed rate is around 0.25%, depending on the amount we are working on. So, which can always be looked at, actually.
Okay, thank you. Ernest Issa?
Yes, I have a very simple question here.
Okay.
Do insurance companies give special rates for green or sustainable construction projects?
Truth is, I can't speak to that. I mentioned that NIC gives the rates in which we can operate. Do you understand? They give the rating. So if we realize you are being sustainable, your risk management stuff is very, very on point and all that, there's a possibility of we giving you certain discounts. So it's very, very possible that if we see that you are being green, you are being sustainable and all that, there's a possibility of you getting certain discounts. But I can't say emphatically how much we can give you. Yes.
I think this is something you should suggest to your regulator to entrench it in their policies. Because sustainability is becoming big everywhere. It has become big everywhere. Ghana isn't really into it for a lot of reasons. So if you do something like this, I'm sure we'll get people on board.
It's a big deal. We will really look at it.
Yeah.
It's a big.
Okay. Any other questions, please? Or contribution? Anybody?
Okay, let me ask another one then.
Okay.
So, can any construction get a bid? Is there any pre-qualification to be bid eligible?
Mostly, especially the ones that I see in the newspapers, they state things you are supposed to provide.
I meant bond. Sorry, I don't know what I said, bid or bond. I meant bond, right?
Yes, please come again with your question. Immediately you said bond. Just
Yeah, what I wanted to ask is, can any contractor get a bond, qualify to get a bond?
Oh,
Say
yes.
if I set up my construction company and I'm 6 months old, and along the line I get a contract, can I get a bond with no
Yes.
history?
Yes. So you can even set up your company today and get a bond, but it will also depend on our assessment. If we assess you and realize that you can really perform the job, maybe you may not have the experience because there wouldn't be any experience that we can fall on, but we will do our risk assessment to see really whether are you getting the funding, where the people are working with the jobs you're likely to get in the future. We will get it, but I mean the rates may differ from somebody who has been in the industry for so long and have a very good track record.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, I still see Nuruddin's hand up.
Hello, please, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes. Good evening, Hannah.
Good evening, Nuruddin.
Yes. Please, if I take insurance for construction plant, let's say excavator.
Excavator.
And it's costing, the policy is comprehensive and it's costing 10 million Ghana cedis.
10 million Ghana.
Yes, and there's a damage to the excavator. But due to external factors like just 2022, things get ballooned in Ghana and the inflation got high. So the price of the excavator increased maybe double the 10 million Ghana cedi policy I did for the excavator. Who will bear the difference?
So truth is, insurance, this kind of insurances are indemnity insurance. Indemnity means that we are taking you back to where you were before the loss occurred. And the amount that you declare during the underwriting process, during the time of the underwriting, that's the amount we pay to you. So should there be any inflation that causes the cost of the machine to increase, we are not going to bear it. So we always say that in the course of the policy period, if you have your asset being and the cost of replacement of your assets being increased, always make sure you come to the insurance company or talk to your broker to revalue your asset. We always say that always make sure you revalue your asset in the course of the insurance year, so that should anything happen, you will be reinstated to the right position that you want. But you wouldn't say, okay, the cost of the excavator was 10 million, now it's 15 million. I can't pay for it. Insurance should pay for it. We won't pay anything more than what we insured. So always make sure that should there be any inflation affecting the cost of your assets, this by extension should be to your vehicles, even your own vehicle, your office vehicles, your buildings. Should there be any increase in the value or the cost of rebuilding the structures or buying a new car or a property, always make sure you speak to your broker or you speak to your insurance company to revalue your assets, else we won't pay you more than what you insured the item for. Please, are we good?
Okay, my next question.
Okay.
In 2018, we did a project across the whole country, and we were asking for performance bond from the banks, and the bank guarantee. So when they get the guarantee, what they did is the moment the contractors raise IPC for payment, and the payment has been done into their account, contractors' account through the bank, they don't release the money to the contractors to rather go and work. They put the money and waiting for the contractor to work, which rather delay our project anticipating time, instead of them helping the contractors to facilitate the project to finish within the stipulated time. But when we pay the money, and it's not one contractor, it's no. Can you hear me? Hello?
Hannah, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. So, and it was not one contractor or two. It was involving about not less than 20 contractors across board. And it was a very serious problem that we need to handle to the extent we even have to bypass the banks and get them contracted the material to finish our project. So I don't see the bank guarantees and the insurance guarantees. To me, I don't really see their impact in that project for me. Or whether there's any kind of special distance that caused it or not, I wouldn't know.
Sorry, Nuruddin, a call came through, so I lost you. I couldn't get your question. So if you can come again with a question, I'll be glad.
Okay. What I said is we did a project across the whole Ghana 2018, and we want a bank guarantee as performance bond from the contract. And we demanded for bank guarantee, and most of them got us the bank guarantee. But we realized that anytime the contractor raised IPC and they have been paid, the banks don't release the money for them to facilitate the work to go faster. They rather delay in releasing the money to the contractor, and it affected our project delivery date, which to me we didn't understand. It got to a point we have to bypass the banks and then get the contractor's material in order for us to finish the project. So I don't really know whether that's all how bank guarantees work, or it was just something that happened to us. And it was a big project which were involved about not less than 20 contractors across the board.
Okay, I'm a broker and we are more of the insurance. I can't speak for the banks, all right, but I don't know what happened, so I can't speak for the banks. Well, I don't know what happened, why they delayed releasing the funds, because ordinarily, immediately you are given a bank guarantee, they are supposed to release the funds for you to get the job done as it's supposed to be. So I can't speak to that. My colleague Kofi is on the call, so I would prefer he tackles it if he has anything to say about that. Kofi?
Hi, Amma. Great presentation.
Yeah,
good afternoon,
thank
everyone.
you. Good afternoon.
Okay, so Nuruddin, yes, I heard what you said. I understand perfectly what happened. So typically, it's a game of risks, and the bank always insists that they have collateral to cover their risk.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the time, the insurance companies are willing to be flexible with collateral, but the banks are not. So to the tune that your collateral is inadequate, they'll hold on to your cash. And this is usually done with your agreement. So before you signed off the document for the bond, they told you that we are going to keep 50% of your money that comes in at any point in time. So you finish. They tell you upfront that we'll hold your money because you cannot give us collateral, we'll hold your money. So that is exactly what happened. Whoever negotiated the bank transaction for you did not fully explain to you that the money will be held as part collateral. I understand that it delays your project and then all of that, but those are the terms of the bank guarantee you went for. I've seen quite a number of these things, and sometimes the banks come back to insurance companies and say, okay, give us a guarantee to 50% of the amount so that we can release the money to the contractor. Those things do happen. So yes, once you go for a bank guarantee and you do not give them collateral, you are most likely to be hit with one of these other terms and conditions. So it's always important to look at the T's and C's before you sign off on these policies. I trust I've answered your question fully. Oh yeah, and then you said that so in that instance, you didn't see the need for the insurance, for the guarantee. So I'll just speak to that. These guarantees are very important. A lot of the time when nothing bad goes wrong, yeah, we say that, so what's the point? No need for insurance, nothing happened. But then the day something goes wrong, that is when everybody says, have you not heard about insurance? Why did you not do insurance? Insurance is good. Insurance is this. Insurance is that. They say that only when the person did not do insurance.
Yeah.
So please, it's always good to have your projects fully insured. Insurance, on the average, costs just a very small fraction of the total contract amount. But then when anything goes bad, you know that your insurers have your back. You can get some money. So sometimes people complain that, oh, it delays. Yes, on certain days when the information needed doesn't come as quickly as possible, the process delays. But you know that whatever happens, you are able to recoup a certain amount of those losses from the insurance company. It's always better than being on your own in those situations. Thank you.
Thank you, Kofi. Thank you.
Okay.
Admin is, there's another hand up.
Yeah, please hold on. Before we go on, can you kindly leave your contact details in the chat? Hannah would like to contact you, or in case you need insurance advice, and you go to Hannah, because you joined this webinar, should see inside for you.
Advice, free
So
advice
please,
for all of you. I will
yeah,
leave my contacts in the
yeah, but the
box.
attendees should also leave theirs in
Yeah.
the chat for us.
Okay.
We really appreciate if you can do that. Yes. Okay. ISDCMG, is that Charles?
Yeah, Charles. I was
Okay.
just trying to, as a follow-up to what we were talking about. So you see, for the bank guarantees, usually the banks require that you have, so if you are guaranteeing 2 million Ghana cedis for you, they want to make sure that they have collateral or that amount in your account. The insurance companies will charge you a premium. So we want to have that discussion as construction professionals, because now most of the projects are asking for bank guarantees.
Bank guarantees,
and contractors are struggling to get them. Also because in time past, most of the insurance companies were struggling to pay the clients when contractors default. So, but now I think the rules have changed. The insurance commission is quite, there has been some amendment to even the monies that you need to open an insurance company with. So as consultants, we may have to start advising our clients to start looking again at insurance rather than the bank guarantees. I know they want more security, but the insurance companies are now doing well. There is a discussion we can pick up. Thanks. Just something I wanted to add.
Yeah, you are doing very well. So, even the banks are even more expensive. So come to us, we will do well. We will treat you very, very well.
Please, I don't see your contacts in the chat.
Oh, I
kindly
just
leave
did.
your, no, not yours, the attendees, yeah. Kindly leave your contacts behind for us. Is there any other contribution, question? We've gone a little beyond our time, but I believe we're all enjoying the conversation. So any other questions, contributions?
I want you to all go online, look out for iRisk Management, and follow us. Mostly we hold webinars, and we also put articles in relation to the insurances that you will need. So you can check us out on Facebook, or get to our website, or also follow us on LinkedIn, so that you can get access to some of these information or the risk management practices, things we put out there, the write-ups and all that, so you can also educate yourself.
Thank you. Kindly add your email addresses to your contacts information. We would like to send you the recordings. Yes. Okay, any more contributions, questions? If there's nothing right now, Nanaya Isa, he's one of our directors. Please, if you'd like to say anything.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I think so far so good. I like the attendance. I just want to say that this is the beginning of our monthly series that we will be having. And our plan is to have at least once every month. So stay tuned. And I'm also hoping that all of you here have registered, because we're looking to get some number so we can officially launch this institution. So I will just announce the next topic we will have, which will be AI meets construction. And this will be presented by Dr. Abdul Mohammed. We will share further details in the course of the week. So just stay tuned, and then always make it happen for us. And also, if you are a specialty, if you have any topic in mind that you would also like to present, you can reach out to us and we can create a platform for you. The whole idea is that we all learn from each other to really make sure that we are making a positive change in the construction industry in Ghana. So feel free to reach out to us on any topic that you would like to also present during these webinars. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Isa. Charles, would you like to say something?
No. Ernest has spoken. Take that for me.
Okay. Hannah, we'd like to thank you very, very much for this enlightening presentation. We've learned a lot, and we are hoping that after this, we have a good relationship with you. We come to your insurance company, and like I said, you see inside for us. Don't treat us
we
as
will.
like regular customers.
No, we will. We will treat you really pretty good.
Thank you very much, and thank you all to our attendees. We hope to see you at the next webinar and even the subsequent ones. Thank you so much. Have
Thank
a
you.
lovely evening. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
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 Bye.